Hey up, I hope you're all well. I wanted to do a video, I promised a while ago to do a video on the cost of the pond, the entire build. And I'm very conscious I don't want to do a clickbait video, a cheap DIY, because it's not cheap. Cheap and easy, it's not cheap and it's not easy. So what I've done, I've gone through and I've found all my receipts and costed it as accurately as I can. And hopefully anybody that's looking to build their own pond, there's enough info on my channel now, at least to help you all along the way, and help you avoid mistakes that I made. And the idea of this is to create something that I've created. This is what it's going to cost you. Like I said, it's not cheap, it's not easy. If I look at it objectively, and I've got to be honest, I'm really pleased with how it's come out and what I've done. The actual cost, albeit a decent amount of money for me, for what it is, I think it's turned out really well, and I would be happy to pay it. I've seen projects cost an awful lot of money, and it just goes to show what the markup can be. But you are paying for that to be done professionally, I suppose. Whereas doing it on your own, there's no comebacks. There's nobody to blame if it goes wrong. Whereas if it's done professionally, they know what they're doing. They come in a few days and have it done and dusted. So that's what you're paying for. So enough rambling. It's the first time I've done a sort of voiceover, if you like. So I'll be running the background video, and I will be putting up images and little bits of video of the materials and everything that I've used as I go along. So just for reference, the pond is 20 foot, well, it's 21 feet by 12 feet, and the deepest part is 3.5 feet, and the shallowest part is 2.5 feet. So on a lot of the websites you can go on to buy liner, they have a calculator where you put the dimensions in and it calculates the liner that you need. Obviously, it goes without saying, I went by the deepest part, the widest and the longest. That way I knew I'd have over. It also recommends, I think it's 6 inches overlap on the edges, and I have that at least all the way around. So we'll start with the liner. It's EPDM rubber liner, and the main liner to cover the 21 feet by 12 feet came in at £332, and that was from Aqualiners Direct. So that didn't include any underlay, that was just for the liner alone, and it's a Firestone, so I went with the decent brand, and I thought that was quite a reasonable price. The separate liner for the waterfall, again, it's exactly the same brand from the same place, but that was £66. I can't remember the dimensions exactly on that one. I think it was probably something along the lines of 3 meters by 4 meters, thereabouts. But obviously if you're building, then you'll know exactly what size you need. So it's 332 for the main liner, 66 for the waterfall liner, and then a load of underlay. I didn't go with a really expensive underlay, but I didn't go with the cheap stuff either. It was sort of in the middle, and it was 73 quid. So basically, if you wanted to dig yourself a great big hole, put a liner in and fill it with water, you could do it for 400 quid. The next part, and the most expensive part of this build in particular, was the rocks. I have mentioned it previous on the video that I did about the rocks for the pond, so I won't go massively into the detail because it's detailed there, and I'll put a link in. but it's mainly all slate. There is some boulders as well, and it was all from like a rockery range, if you like. And in total, I spent £1,704 just on rocks. So that eclipses anything else I spent anywhere else on this pond. But it wouldn't be the same pond without those rocks. So yeah, £1,704. They were mainly from Decorative Gardens. I've linked those in the description for the rock video. So if you were looking for those, then it would have been great if I'd have known somebody that had a load of rock and I could have had it for note. But yeah, it just doesn't happen that way sometimes. So £1,704 for the rocks. The next part was the filter and the pump. So I bought these as a package, that's why I put them both together. So the large 30,000 litre pressure filter and the 12,000 litre an hour pump. They were from Amazon actually. They were all pond solutions, but sold through Amazon, and they were 395 quid. So to buy them separately it was dearer, and actually to buy them on All Pond Solutions site it was dearer. Bizarrely, on Amazon from All Pond Solutions it was the cheapest option, 395 quid. The next thing I bought was the skimmer. Well, whether it was the next thing I'm going to talk about is the skimmer. I have mentioned before it wasn't part of my original design, but I am so glad I put it in. And it's the Oase Biosis skimmer, and that was £189. So for what it is, it's a plastic tub with a weir door and a basket. It seems really expensive if you look at it like that, but for the job that it's doing on the pond, I think it's invaluable. So £189 for the skimmer. I've put the pump house in. I call it the pump house. It's technically, I mean, it's a cater storage unit. I store it out MIDI. In the UK, they do drop in price quite often, to be fair. You can normally pick them up sub 80 quid. But I paid 98 because I needed it. We were in lockdown. Managed to get one because I think everybody had the same idea over the lockdown where they were doing the gardens, so they were hard to get hold of. So that was 98 quid. I've included it in there because I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. It would have been handy if I had something that I could utilise, but I didn't. I've got a miscellaneous of gravel and pebbles. So these were bags from Wicks and B&Q, and I just chose sort of river washed pebbles and pea gravel for the bog filter and various. They all the bags, they came to 90 quid I spent on gravel and pebbles. Speaking of the bog, I bought a cheaper liner for the bog and it was £24. It is durable. It had a 40-year warranty or guarantee, should I say. But I didn't get the rubber liner for the bog. So on my little list that I've got pond hose. Now there was some hose included with the pump and the filter set, which I did use, and it was actually really good quality hose. Some that I've bought since, there's not so much. I was quite disappointed in the quality of the hose, but it is working for now, and that's the main reason I haven't buried it in. It is still running next to the fence, but I spent an extra £30 on longer hose just so I can make the runs that I needed to do. The electricity, the switch box was £35 just for the 6-way switch box. But again, I don't think you could run it without one really. It's really good at what it does, simple, easy to use. So yeah, and the air unit, the Blagden two-way air unit, which I've just replaced, to be fair. Not because it broke, because it was insufficient for the pond, but I did spend money on it. So that was £38. Cancel all that. The switch box and the air unit combined, I got them combined from the I can't remember the shop, but it was £78 for the switch box and the Blagdon air unit. But yeah, I've included them in the original. I have bought another air pump, but I haven't fitted it yet. I've got here Miscellaneous. I bought a three-way tap. Anybody that's seen my original video, I think it is, again I'll link it. There's a tap to divert the flow from the pump to the bog and then to the filter. So I've included that. That was £11. So I think that's just about everything that I paid for just for the pond, and it came in at a grand total of £3,091. What I will say is I do have some rock left over. I have a pallet and a half of various rocks that I haven't used, so that could have been deducted from this build. You could realistically take £200 at least off that, but what I haven't included in the cost is the plants and the fish, etc. And I mentioned in one of the videos about designing and considerations for your pond. The gazebo, the surrounding area, the surrounding landscaping, all that has to be taken into consideration. So, like I said, this is the cost of the pond, to build the pond. Everything else is not included. So yeah, there we go. We had a total of £3,091. So for what it is, I don't think that that's an excessive amount of money. It's a lot of money, but I don't think for what I've got, I've done bad. So let me know in the comments and description if you think differently. I mean, there's certainly a case to be made for being able to do it cheaper if I was patient enough and waited for the price of things to drop, or I could have sourced some rocks cheaper. Absolutely. If you look at the cost of building, let's say a traditional raised koi pond, and all the associated costs of that, then it far exceeds, I think, even the cheaper ones exceed what I've spent. So yeah, hopefully it gives somebody a little bit of information, a rough idea of what I've got and what it cost. So thanks again to everybody that's liked and subscribed, and anybody got any questions or comments, absolutely put them down. I'll try my best to reply to all of them. And yeah, subscribe. There's videos coming out every week. Thanks very much.